Pupils and students in cadet classes and tertiary students are to resume classes on the 15th of October until May next year. According to the ministry, they will utilize this period of time to complete the syllabus and then sit for exams.
That calendar, if you have seen it, actually provides for these learners to cover the syllabus. So, when they go back, that's why we are taking them back. For them, they are not being assessed. Like the others who, but even those, we expect that we shall have some little time to do some small drills before we assess them. So these are going back to study. And for them, they're even lucky because they are going back when we have already produced all the materials for them to study. So the issue of taking notes will be more limited. They will now focus on the practicals.
The COVID-19 pandemic has affected very many people, including the parents, who are expected to dip into their pockets to pay for school fees for their children.
Our learners will be covered. And especially now when they know that there will be an assessment at the end, I think people are going to make an effort to have this materials. We have already stated that education is a shared responsibility. Government can only do as much because, ladies and gentlemen, you are aware that the Ministry of Education did not plan for this, and we actually never got an extra resource, to implement this. So we are trying to do the best in a very, very difficult situation and with the little resources we have.
The permanent secretary of the Ministry of Education and Sports, Alex Kakoza, the best they can do is to provide face masks to the students, but schools will also be tasked to follow the Ministry of Health standard operating procedures for COVID-19.
We would want to test, for example, would try and test learners in very high-risk places. For example, Kampala. But they were not even learners who are looking at teachers. Those who are going to interact with our students, and that is still our position. So the Ministry of Health has a new method which they call it the antigen test, which they are trying to see if they can use on our teachers, especially in Kampala, because as you know, this place is a hotspot for this disease in the country. So that is what we are still hoping for. And hope that will give us an impression, of course, and even some level against protection.
As the candidates resume their studies, the ones who are not attending school are expected to continue with their education, online, television and radio as they wait for the situation to change.
Buy radios to support homeschooling or homeland. We are buying 9 million radios. We needed money to buy the radios. The Ministry of Finance has confirmed that money will be available. We have done the procurement, and I think today we were sending our contracts because yesterday the contracts committee approved.
Maria Dana Namiro, Select News.